I turn on the sound. All right. I don't know if I can hear me. Let's see if we can get some video.
Some video.
Oh, there it is. Move around a little bit. All right. Doesn't look half bad on YouTube. How you doing there, Mr. Kevin?
Hanging out.
Just hanging out?
Making friends.
Making friends? Better than making enemies, I guess. Let's see what we look like on YouTube. If you guys are, if there's anybody watching. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Yep, yeah, there you are. Look at you in all your glory. You excited, Coach Kevin? Today's the day.
What's today? Friday?
Today is the day.
What's the day?
One. Who's number one?
Oh.
I know you've been looking forward to it all week.
The WNO.
What's that?
The WNO.
The WNO. The wino. That's all I like to call it. You have to do the Turkish get-ups.
Oh, that sounds hard.
Yes. I mean, the way you're doing it is.
Yes. I don't think I have the...
Oh, we're like closed captioning too. I don't know. I didn't know we're doing that, but on Facebook it's real-time closed captioning.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Well, I mean, I'm not
I'm a mumbler, so...
You're a mumbler?
It's going to be
a good mumble rapper. Apparently mumble rap is a thing. I didn't know mumble rap was a thing. It's an actual term. Welcome to Old Man Rich Jackson's rant on Facebook and YouTube daily.
We should just start, if anyone's watching, you should just list a bunch of pop culture things and see if Rich
has any idea about what you're talking about.
Have you heard about crypto? We know about cryptocurrency.
I do. Well, I know that it exists, and I actually have a friend of mine who he's a huge believer in crypto, but my general rule of thumb is that if I don't really know how it works, I'm definitely not going to invest in it.
Oh, you should.
And I have no idea anything about the blockchain or crypto. It seems like it is generally going up, but I don't understand it. Like I don't. It's like a make-believe currency.
Yeah, like regular money. You should invest.
But there's no so like regular money. Yes, I understand that's also in a sense of fiction, but. There's like a Federal Reserve, there's like a Treasury Department, there are more or less responsible individuals. I mean, they may or may not be competent, I don't know. It doesn't mean that I necessarily understand monetary policy either, but at least I'm confident there are some regulatory officials and government officials who generally know about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, who don't want the whole market to crash. Whereas crypto, there's no one in charge, right? That's the whole point of it, it's just totally independent. Oh yeah. So I wanted to.
Are markets in their natural form something with a person in charge of them?
I guess somebody's got to be in charge, right? There's got to be market makers. There's got to be somebody who's willing to buy and sell.
But that doesn't make them in charge of the market, does it?
In a kind of way.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to.
Well, it's like saying the people who take part in the stock market are manipulating the stock market.
Like I think the SEC is generally in charge of the stock market, right?
That's what I've heard.
Right? I mean, I don't know that the market makers are. I mean, they're in charge of the market, right? Of buying and selling, getting security, I suppose. And I guess there could be more than one of them.
But like
imagine there are.
The market existed before a regulatory body came in and started setting rules, right? Or
no, because the exchanges were. Well, I don't know, right? So I don't know the actual history, but I mean, if you're talking about the stock market, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, where'd that come from? Like where does the stock market start? Like where?
I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there was at some point companies had shares and people wanted to buy and sell them in companies, and so somebody decided like we should have some sort of location that we could go and exchange our shares, right?
Yeah.
And so like we should probably make it so. And my understanding is like the New York Stock Exchange is a private organization.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's publicly traded.
Is it internationally regulated?
Or
does each country have their own sovereign market?
I don't think so. A lot of countries have their own stock exchanges. I don't know how each one is regulated or if they're private or public.
Did London used to be the leading world exchange of stock place?
Sure. I mean, it still is.
Is it still the leading?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of the major financial centers.
I thought New York overtook it at some point.
I mean, I don't know what the relative volumes are.
Me neither.
But my understanding is that London is still
a
global hub of economic activity.
Yeah, I've been told it's a powerhouse.
Today, I'm going to just stretch a little bit. I have back spasms today. I actually was stretching my back when I came in, and somehow I put my back into spasm by stretching it. They talk about middle-aged jiu-jitsu. Tom DeBlas just came out with a DVD. I call them DVDs still when no one actually issues DVDs, but that's just me. Always about 10 years behind technology. But he has a new instructional called middle-aged jiu-jitsu for middle-aged men or something, or middle-aged jiu-jitsu.
Jiu-jitsu that requires no spinal movement.
I mean, I was laughing at it when I first saw it, but now I might go by. I mean, to me, it's just like this. I mean, I pull my back about every 6 months, or not pull, but it goes into spasm for some reason, and I mean, you just gotta suck it up. I take a bunch of Advil, and then I'm just gonna chill for a little bit, you know? Like, I didn't do anything in particular to it that I can recall, but I think a big part of aging in jiu-jitsu is
doing it gracefully.
I don't know about that. You know, it's like when you get injured by not really doing anything other than stretching. I think it's bad news. And I've been trying to stretch more and more lately. Maybe that's why I pulled it. Stretching might be bad. Maybe stretching is the problem.
Stretching.
Yeah, just.
I was very sore after my stretching session on, what was it, Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yeah, I don't know.
More than usual. But I'm not a stretcher. I don't believe it.
I stretch a lot. I mean, especially now with my hip, I have to stretch. And I think it helps. But for whatever reason, when I was arching my back, I was doing, just basically laying on a medicine ball. But I was using the weight to kind of stretch my arms out as well, to stretch out my upper back and my shoulders. And my lower back did not like that at all. Loud engine. Sorry about that. I have no control over that. So, I think stretching is an important part of jiu-jitsu.
I don't know.
I mean, did people have different? Well, I guess it's always individual. I think it's individual. Just wait for 10 years and then
I'm sure
you'll start to stretch.
Yeah.
Especially because you're so tall, and tall people usually have like lower back issues.
Yeah.
Eventually.
No, currently.
Right? Currently.
Not like problems, but my back hurts.
Yeah.
Usually. I don't know, like stretching. I'm wary of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wary of overstretching. Because I've met people who have hurt themselves by stretching too much.
I think it's one of those things where, everyone has an opinion about the utilities, like lifting or, any kind of exercise, right?
Yeah.
Everyone has an opinion about it, but and it's probably valid with respect to their own experience. But I don't know how transferable it is. Some people say, "Well, stretching is, I swear by stretching," and other people like yourself are like, "Well."
I like warming up, for at least as far as jiu-jitsu is concerned, because I don't know, stretching seems not invasive, but kind of more than I would want in the beginning of something, versus I'm just trying to get blood moving.
Yeah, just go warm, just circulation.
Yeah, as opposed to like just cold stretching out muscles when I'm probably going to get stretched out anyway. It would be better, I think, to get warm and then get everything moving, and then do a bunch of stuff, and then usually stretch afterwards. Like if you're going to stretch at all. That's, I don't know, in my experience and from what I've read and understood about exercise.
I mean, I think we're
stretching.
actually, we are not qualified exercise or fitness trainers or whatever
Yes.
they're called. So, I mean, I think whatever you hear
Yeah.
is you should probably take with a grain of salt. But right there, that hurt.
Probably.
Oh. Middle-aged jiu-jitsu. Get yourself a big bottle of Advil.
What is stretching for though?
What's-
Like what is it when you stretch? Like you're stretching. Like I'm gonna stretch. What are you doing to your body? What's happening? Like when you're stretching your muscles. Like they get longer, they get looser, less flexible. They get less tense, more tense. Like what's the goal?
The goal is to be more relaxed, I would say, less tense.
Or when we're
Right, because it's
stretching-
like I get up in the morning and I'm like stiff, right? Or like maybe you just train and you come back and you're like all sore and stiff. And I mean, often my general practice has been to, oh my God. My general practice has been just to like get on the mat and start rolling,
yeah.
right? And then just warm up through the, you know, like I'm not gonna get on the mat usually and then like go
Yeah.
1,000 miles an hour. It's usually like I'm on the mat, I'm like,
I like that.
eventually over time, like,
Their hugs will warm.
yeah, the person's like kind of grabbing me and like it's almost like an involuntary massage therapy, right? Where they're just kind of like, but that's usually how I've warmed up. But now I've come around to the idea of like I have to do that in a more controlled fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I try, like you're saying, I try to warm up with some movement. You know, that's not in and of itself like particularly rigorous. Like I'm not trying to, you know, stretch to my utmost or loosen myself up. But like you're saying, like just kind of move around, get air, you know, in my lungs, and feel my heart rate increase, and get the blood flowing. Get the muscles used to moving.
I'm cautious about training flexibility.
Well, that's kind of a different thing, right? Like, I want to increase my overall, like the ability for my legs to go, like into a split, or you know, be able to do a back bend. You know,
which are awesome things.
I mean, yes. Well, here's the thing about this, right? Like, there are stretches that you or a degree of flexibility that you should have or need to perform certain techniques, right? If you're going to do suplexes, right, you probably should be able to do a back bend, right? You should be able to do a back arch, I should say, not a back bend. You see like wrestlers who, you know, you see them do neck bridges and back arches and
That judo guy you showed me yesterday.
Zantaraya. I don't know how to say his name. Zantaria. Yes, I mean he's just crazy.
Is this a bad idea?
Yeah, dude, it's all bad. That's all bad.
Can I tape it?
No, just what are you doing?
I'm trying to make it heavier.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm
More
gonna put
importantly,
that-
you're probably gonna break one of my treasured possessions there.
That's what I'm worried about. Is
Yeah, I don't care about you. I mean, I just don't want you to break my
Do you think
things.
this will break the things?
It'll break the bar, probably. Nah, I don't know. It's already been.
That was different.
Why do you have to do the most destructive thing possible?
This isn't destructive. It's constructive.
It's constructive?
Yes.
Really? Is that what you're calling it?
Becoming a better human being by lifting these weights somehow.
So who you got for today? Let's go through the card.
Okay, what's the card?
The card. Let's see. Did we get a comment? Did somebody comment? No, nobody commented. Is anybody watching? Anybody out there? Oh, Ali Butt is watching. What's up, Ali? Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Who's number one? Flow grappling. Let's go through the card, shall we? What's the card? Oh, it's already started. I think they have the prelims right now. We're not gonna. Let's see. Let me go to events.
Who's Gordon fighting again? Is it Gordon?
Gordon is fighting Roberto Jimenez.
What is he good at?
Roberto?
Yeah.
Roberto is really good attacking the back. I mean, he's a young guy. Apparently, he has trained in the past with Gordon. They say that they've had wars in the training room.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Did
Roberto.
they say this before or after they started hyping the fight? Did they say
This
that?
is before.
Cool.
My sense, well, Roberto's exceptionally aggressive. He's very good at taking the back, very good at everything, but he is, he's got a motor on him. I think my sense is that he's giving up a pretty good amount of weight to Gordon. He's
Really?
like 215 or 220 right now.
How big is Roberto?
I don't know exactly, I don't know what they're waiting at. But I don't know that that's going to happen. He has matches against big guys all the time. I don't get this. I mean, yeah, the weight is going to be the weight, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change the way that he actually attacks. Right? I mean, he's going to be aggressive no matter what, and he's going to be going for submissions. He's going to be hunting the back. It's.
I think the only time I've seen.
And he'll stand a little bit, but he really isn't trying to stand and get takedowns. He's usually trying to stand in order to get to the back, right? You might go in for something on him, or maybe an arm drag and try to get him to the back rather.
Gordon's got his back taken before the competition.
When did Gordon get his back taken?
Was it Pena?
Philippe Pena.
Pena.
Well, the thing with Philippe is that, my recollection of those two matches is that Gordon pretty much dominated everything positionally. And then Philippe did his little wizardry from a deep inside heel hook position, or leg lace.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, right? I'm sure that Roberto watched that video a million times and knows that technique very well. But I'm equally positive that Gordon Ryan has also watched those videos a million times, and I don't think Philippe Pena would be able to hit it again on him.
I agree.
Right? I mean,
it would be uncharacteristic of their team spirit.
I just don't. I mean, I'm sure John has gone through that with Gordon at length.
I'm sure he stays up at night and thinks about
I would be. I mean, that's really the only time. I mean, Kane and Duarte almost took his back at Nogi Worlds like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Almost.
Almost.
And I'm sure again that's video that Gordon and John have watched a lot and is probably unlikely to happen again. So, I mean, look, I'm not going to say impossible, right? But unlikely. Like, if it happens, it would be super impressive. I think the thing I'll say about Roberto is that he's, if he plays super aggressive, like technically super aggressive, meaning he's going to the back and trying to submit, I think obviously increases his chances of submission because he's attacking.
Yeah.
But he's also playing into Gordon's hands a little bit, right? He's just going to come after him.
Yeah.
The guy who came after, was it Gordon or was it Gary? I can't remember now, but I think Wagner Hocha had a match, I think against Gordon. And a very similar kind
Wasn't
of
that the one where Gordon got his knee busted up?
No, that was against Gabriel Hocha, not Wagner Hocha.
So many Hochas, so
Yeah.
many Wagners, so many.
A lot of Hochas.
So many Hochas.
I don't know if that was Gary, I think it was Gordon. I can't keep it up. And the other thing is, that was Zapatero 2. And I think, they had 2. They also had EBI 11. They had another match. Maybe I think that was one I was thinking of, where Gordon wound up taking it back. But Wagner was a very grindy attack, very attack-heavy game. And I think Wagner's not as dynamic or movement-based as Roberto is. Roberto is very fluid. very aggressive, but you know, he won't necessarily hang on to something just for the sake of hanging on to it. So, I don't know, I think it'll be a very interesting match. I've been wrong in all of my calls this year so far.
Like what?
I was wrong when I thought that Rodolfo was going to give Candy Duarte a problem. That was disastrously incorrect. You know, I'm glad I was not a betting person because I would have lost a lot of money, seeing as though that match ended very quickly.
It was quick.
It was like within a couple a minute.
Minutes.
It was like a minute, and it was all bad. It was like all bad.
I thought it was over a minute. I guess
it was like maybe a minute on the ground, and then Candy hit like a slide by or like an arm drag, and then it was just on Rodolfo's back for the rest of the time, which was another minute until he choked him out. Rodolfo had no offense in that. So I think you know, there's almost zero chance that Gordon can lose that match.
So naturally he's.
I mean, I'm not. Look, that's not the kiss of death, but I think if there's a safe bet, it would be Gordon Ryan. I mean, I don't know how quickly he's going to end it, but I just don't see how he loses.
Maybe your predictions are the kiss of death.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Do you care to disagree? I mean, it doesn't sound like you really know anything about Roberto Jimenez. You might want to look him up because I think he really is. I mean, he's got some big wins. I think he is one of these guys, young guy, up and comer. Has been very active this year. It's another, I think, advantage. Yeah, you can have it. Another advantage that he has this year, or you know, in this match, is that he's been extremely active, whereas Gordon has kind of been, you know, hasn't had a lot of matches over the last year.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know if he has any rust, but I know he's been training. I just don't, you know, like Gordon has like such great training partners and Craig and Gary Tonin. I just don't know that even Roberto's aggressiveness is really going to be that much of a difference, you know, although Gary's a lot smaller. Do you care to disagree?
Gary's a lot small?
Yeah, Gary's like 175, maybe 180. I don't know what he walks around at, but he's like is he a lightweight?
And he fought Roberto, is that what you said? He fought
No,
Roberto?
I don't think Gary's ever had a match with Roberto. I could be wrong, but I don't remember that one that they did. What about Craig Jones versus Ronaldo? What do you have for that?
Ronaldo who?
Is Ronaldo Jr. is his last name. I don't know if that's his actual last name, but
I like Craig Jones, so I'm going to say Craig Jones.
just for the heck of saying Craig Jones.
That's mostly just because I like saying his name. Like, I like how it sounds. And then I just don't know who Ronaldo is.
So Ronaldo is an Atos black belt.
Sure.
Relatively recent vintage black belt, but very good. He's very explosive, very dynamic.
What is a recent vintage black belt?
It means he's like just got his black belt within the last year.
Oh, recent vintage, okay.
He has won, I believe, I'm not sure if I know he won worlds in the brown, as a brown belt. I don't know if he's won worlds as a black belt. He has won no-gi worlds as a brown belt, I believe.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
If you win brown belt world champion, are
Yes.
you allowed to call yourself a world champion
Yes.
without a little asterisk next to it?
I mean,
Like if you open up a gym after winning brown belt world champion and you never win black belt worlds or anything like that, are you allowed to say that you own a world champion owned school?
I think that the practice is usually, you could say world champion, but then you have to put like in parentheses brown or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So people know
Brown
that you
belt.
did not win the black belt world championships.
I feel like that's the case, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, you could go around saying that you were a world champion, and I don't think that's
It would be
inaccurate.
technically correct.
It's correct. I mean, it's really, I mean, and deserving of a lot of respect. I mean,
Yes.
the brown belts are killers, right? I mean,
Yes.
I wouldn't say, oh, you're just brown belt. Pshaw. You know, that guy's probably amazing.
Yeah.
You know, so.
But I feel like it's like saying you're the valedictorian of your middle school.
Also amazing, right?
Also very.
Why are you
like,
disrespecting the middle school back to valedictorians?
Because it's like if you say that you were the valedictorian, people think that you mean something very specific when you say that.
That's their fault. It's, you know what, I saw this as a meme today. I'm only responsible for what I say, not for what you understand.
But when you say things knowing that it could possibly cause a misunderstanding, Whose fault is that?
It's your fault.
It's my fault.
I know what I said.
For not assuming that
the brown is silent. When I say world championship, the brown is silent. Yeah, you know, it's up to you to go research that and figure out what I'm saying. No, I don't. I mean, I don't think you're right. I don't think you should go around necessarily advertising yourself as the world champion. I guess that's the way to do it. If you say a world champion, that would be one way to signify it, as opposed to the world champion.
World champion means you won the absolute.
Oh, is that what that means?
But even then, like, there's still plenty of other absolute winners. Like, because there are other, you know, every year has a new crop of people.
Yeah, but you were the champion for
Maybe
that
if
year.
you said, like, 2017 world champion.
Yes.
Like, the
Well, if you were in
2017.
like if you won it this year, if you won 2021, for this year you could call yourself the champion because it's current, right? It's like the world champion of boxing.
I agree with that. You could either do that, you could either be the 2017 and like specify the year.
Brown.
Or when you say I'm the I'm the black belt world champion, you're implying that you are the current.
Or the former.
No.
You can't say the former world
Or
champion?
you could say the former. But I guess, yeah. But
You know, like when
you're still a champion though. You're just
yes,
the 2017.
I mean, when I'm thinking of golf now, when they announce people when they come to the first tee, they'll say, you know, I'll use Tiger Woods because he's won everything, and they'll say like, you know, the PGA Tour champion years, so on and so forth, and then they'll say Masters champion for these following years, and they'll say no. Usually it's only one thing. Most people only win a couple, if they win any.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys who you have to sit. I don't know what they do for those guys, but usually they'll announce that like you're the champion of such and such year for such and such. You know, they'll do that for tennis too. They'll be like, but when it's Serena Williams and she's got like 50 championships, I don't know if they have to sit there for 10 minutes while they reel them all off. I mean, they might just say 19-time. No, they'll say 5-time PGA Tour champion, 5-time Masters champion, 10-time US Open champion.
You already know who the F she is.
Yeah, we don't have to go through all of her. You can look at your what do they call it?
Like, how do you not know? If
your
you're watching the sport right now and you haven't heard this person's name, like, why are you here?
Maybe. You know, I
I
don't
know.
know.
There are always new people watching. Stupid kids.
I mean, as that recedes into memory, people might need to be reminded, you know,
Yeah.
hey, this person used to be
Surreal.
Greg Norman, you know, like most people, I don't know, most people don't know who Greg Norman is, but he was like the shark, he was the man.
Yeah.
There was another guy, Bernard Langer, who was another golf. I remember him being really good. Most people don't, I mean, I don't even know what he won, but I remember his name when I was a kid. He was like, win everything.
Yeah.
All pre-Tiger, I think. All right, so you're picking Craig
Yeah.
against your Atos lineage here.
Lineage.
I mean, he's an Atos guy. You should be, I think Andre might be giving you a call tonight.
Why?
Because you're not supporting the team.
That would be a weird phone call. I don't know how.
And then what about Gabby? See, you don't know any of the, actually, you know Gabby.
Gabby Garcia?
I basically pick Gabby over anybody.
Who's she going against?
Natalie, I don't know what Natalie's last name is, but she's pretty, I mean, she's very good too. They're all very good. I mean, they wouldn't be doing this promotion if they weren't really good. But, you know, actually I wanted to go back for a second because I was watching, you know, they had the press conference with, or the interview with Craig Jones and Ronaldo Jr. And I gotta tell you, it was the most boring thing ever. It was so boring. I was like, this is why Gordon Ryan is making a fortune.
A fortune, right. Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
relative to everyone else. Okay, you know. Because they're so boring, right? I mean, just like, oh
That's
my
what
God,
you get.
just
No, that's
try to put something into it. Like, try to. It's not even being respectful. It's just boring, right?
No,
like,
but that's the thing. It is like, that's what you get for trying to market like a thing that is rooted in like respect and like honorable
that's fine, but you know what?
behavior.
You could come out and be like, you know what? I've noticed that Craig doesn't do this very well. I'm gonna go hunt for that. You know, whatever. Just make it up. It doesn't mean you have to do it. It's just like, here's my plan. You know, he's never seen anyone this fast. You know, he's underestimating me. I love to be the underdog.
That's
and I
so
can
boastful.
Yeah, well, it's like all a bunch of cliches that I'm stringing together. But if you say it with enough conviction, at least you generate some excitement, some enthusiasm.
But what if he doesn't feel that way?
Well, the thing is that Ronaldo Jr. is fun to watch. He is a really, really good at grappling. And I love watching him compete.
Where is he from?
I think he's Brazilian.
Okay.
I mean, he's really dynamic. He goes really hard. You know, he's fast. He's like super athletic. He's fun. He's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Really dynamic. I actually think. I mean, it's hard to say with Craig because Craig hasn't been in the gi. The thing is with Ronaldo is that when he's on top, like he's not really a guard puller, right? Like so he attacks. He goes for takedowns. He goes for passes. Whereas I think the big knock on a lot of the DDS guys, other than Gary, is that they just sit down.
Yeah.
And that's not fun to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch them win, but watching Nicky Ryan and Oliver Taza, no offense, but like kind of butt scoot all over the place is not great, right? It's not fun watching.
Yeah.
I understand why they do it. I actually saw another funny meme where it was a guy saying, why would you ignore 50% of the human body? And then the response is, but dude, you literally only go for leg locks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you are ignoring all the other 50%, right?
No, it's just that it doesn't.
That's the meme. That's the meme. They're saying basically you say this as a justification for specializing in leg locks, but then you ignore the other 50% of the body. And I think that's kind of in a nutshell what happens. I watched an Oliver Taza match the other day, and he's really good. He's amazing, but like guys just stuff him because he has no wrestling. He has no wrestling. He doesn't. I never see him trying to pass. He just sits down and tries to invert other people.
Yeah.
And he's gotten to a certain level of competition that it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
That reliably anymore. Like it's like he's got this plan of attack that works, that has worked up to a certain point, and then he graduated to a caliber of competitor, and they just know that they camp on him, right? They know that he's not going to shoot in on him.
Yeah. But you can't expect him to just like.
No, I'm not. It's not meant as a criticism. It's just meant as a reality. And so getting back to Ronaldo Jr. I don't know if it's Ronaldo or Ronaldo. He's super dynamic, and I wish you would just say, like maybe just like kind of bring some of that out in the interview, like kind of have a personality. You like get it the whole time.
Have you ever?
Like just the whole time. And then you'd be asked, how many you guys said something was,
Was
okay.
it right after the weight cut?
I don't know. This is why these guys don't get it. This is why this is not fun to watch.
It's not fun to watch. Like
he will be fun to watch in the match.
Sure, but like after you've been starving yourself for like a week and you're dehydrated and you're tired and you just drove to this place, like
these guys are pros. Their weight cut was not that bad.
He's already doing his job.
He's fine.
I don't even know if he weight cut, but like
he probably didn't.
It's when you. I can't picture anyone starting jiu-jitsu hoping that one day they could have a bunch of cameras in their face and they'd be forced to talk.
Well, these guys, I think, do. I mean, Ronaldo's been like at the highest levels of the sport for his given belt for a long time. Like he's not like he just got black belt. Everyone's like, oh, he was like a heralded blue belt.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just saying that or observing that these guys need to grow some personalities. At least pretend.
People who have personalities don't train jiu-jitsu.
That's not true.
I mean, I feel like you have time to either develop world-class jiu-jitsu or a charming, entertaining personality. If you do one or the other, you have time to do one or the other, right? If you do both, you're not going to make it to Worlds or whatever it is. Like, you're not going to get to that point if you're too busy learning how to talk like Gordon Ryan.
The thing is you see, and it's not just, Conor McGregor is the gold standard of smack talking and self-promoting because he backs it up. But there are a lot of guys who, not a lot, but a couple guys who have parlayed their mouth, their talking skills into actual careers.
Yeah, but that should be the exception, not the rule. It should be, we look at it and we applaud it because it is so rare that the way they do it, it works. If regular smack talk from regular people is garbage and boring, right? Like most people aren't clever enough to do it. Conor is an exceptional human being.
I'm not saying you have to smack talk. I'm saying
or any sort of clever banter. Right? That's not.
You have to find a way to generate well, I'll say this, right? I'm not saying this from the athlete's perspective. You know, if these guys can do whatever they want, they're adults, right? They can do whatever they want. I'm not their managers.
NWO should be generating this hype for them.
But what is it?
Like, why doesn't the company go in there and just?
Well, they do. They put. Well, you know, the thing is like, you can only do so much, right? I mean, they're putting together slick promotional packages. They put a nice, you know, promotion together.
Yeah.
They interview these guys. They do training logs. They, you know, they put work in. It's not for lack of trying. But I think, you know, maybe it's to your point. You could imagine someone who, you know, I think Gary's a good example. Like, Gary's very funny, and he talks about himself, kind of almost in like a sarcastic way or a sardonic way.
Mm-hmm.
He's very rarely disrespectful. I don't know if I've ever heard him say anything disrespectful about an opponent. But he's fun to watch, right? Like, in terms of just talking, it's fun to listen to him. All I'm saying is from the perspective of, you know, is this sport going to get bigger? Is it going to get more popular? You need to have some people with personality up there.
Maybe we need better stories besides like shit talking.
That's what I'm saying. No, I agree.
Well, just like
I agree.
Like a better narrative overall, like a better narrative structure for combat sports.
Yeah, I agree.
But you need like writers for that, and then it becomes.
Well, I mean, but it's, I don't know. I think these guys right now, yeah, you're right. They're focusing on their careers and their abilities, like they're on the mat.
Drop this on my head.
And not know so much their promotion or their self-promotion.
Yeah.
You know, which, you know, look, if
I don't know, you invite.
it's got to be some both. It's got to be both, right? Or the manager. Bring a manager on. Bring Andre on. Right? He's not training. Bring Andre on. Talk about your athletes.
Andre's not going to talk.
Somebody.
Smack.
Bring Josh Hinger. Josh Hinger talks some smack.
Josh Hinger probably will do it.
There you
go.
go.
The issue though is, I don't know, why bring Josh in? Like, you need to bring someone else in to talk shit for you?
I didn't say talk shit.
Right.
I mean, like, hey, how about a little bit of color about your guys? Tell me more about Ronaldo Jr. What's he like in the gym? Is he a fun guy to be around? Like, what? You know, give me something. Give me some color.
Yeah.
Give me some humanity here. He's not just a grappling machine, is he? If he is, that's cool too. It's like the meows, right? Like, all they do is go to church once a week and
do you have any other interests? What?
Interests.
Interests. What are those? I just
describe your day.
We train.
I just train and then I sleep and then I train some more and then I sleep.
And think about training before we fall asleep.
This is a particularly boring episode.
What? No. See, this is the thing. Like,
I can't do as many push-ups as I usually do.
Are we obligated to entertain people?
Yes.
As jiu-jitsu people?
Yes.
I mean, I guess
if they're paying money, which you guys are all not. This is the, you know.
So we can be both, right?
Well, I mean, we can't. You know, I think we're adding
we can do our
valuable insight to the one versus, or I keep calling it one versus need. It's who's number one.
I keep calling it New World Order in my head. But that's fine. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We talk about stretching.
Stretching is cool.
Stretching's.
Jiu-jitsu's just not that fun to watch.
It can be.
It can be.
It
like,
can
like
be.
football highlights are amazing. The day after, where they put them
They
together.
just need to shorten up the rounds. These matches are 50 minutes long.
That's too long. But like.
Well, I mean, it's instead of like, you know, no time limit. And there's no points. It's submission only, right? So it makes it fun.
Can we blindfold them?
That would be awesome. Yes, totally. Totally.
You know what they should do? They should give each one a bodysuit of a different color and then blindfold them inside the bodysuit. And then we don't know who's who.
I think you'll be able to figure it out pretty quick. Why do they have to be blindfolded? Why can't they just be in bodysuits?
I don't know. I thought it would be funnier. But
maybe they could green screen them and make them into like different characters while we watch.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, it would be cool to like not know who was who when you were watching a match.
I think you figure it out pretty quick.
Probably.
Just by the way, I mean, because I think Gordon Ryan has a very distinctive gait. Like when he walks around, yeah.
I can't make.
I don't think he would trick anybody.
Mine isn't any better.
And I don't think, like Gary, you'd be able to know who Gary is.
Yeah.
It basically, you know who the DDS guy is every time because he basically just sit down.
Yeah.
Except for Gary. But he's not going to shoot when he's blindfolded.
Can we bring back the blindfolded idea? Because that would be interesting. Did I told
Do
you
they have
about
to start off holding hands or something? Like, what's the...
Did I tell you about the story of me watching the blind guy compete at Chicago?
No.
It's interesting.
Did you do well?
No. So the thing was, like, he was blind, and everyone knew it. Like, it was obvious. It was pretty obvious.
Everyone just run around
Clearly
his back.
invisible. That's the thing. Like, the first match, they were both purple belts, and they like shake hands, and then the guy
just
like,
tiptoes.
The guy sneaks
so
around to the guy.
That's
the blind guy's back.
That's cowardly.
But hey.
So there's this. I wish I could remember, but there's a really good documentary. I've told you about this guy. He's a high school wrestler. I think in Long Island, maybe. I forget where, but he was blind. He's a blind kid. He's really good. Maybe it's Jersey. And this is like, I'll try to find out the name for it. But it's this kid. He's a really good wrestler. In wrestling, high school wrestling, they have special rules when you're wrestling blind kids.
Yeah.
And the rule is that you have to maintain contact, right? Like you have to have a touch on the, a hand on that guy.
And that would have been perfectly reasonable.
But and I think for jiu-jitsu it would be beneficial. But the crazy thing about this, okay, is so this kid was really good, and if you put your hands on him and he knew where you were, he just murdered you, right? Yeah. He's so good. So what would happen is, of course the kids would. At first you have the initial like, oh, he's blind, we feel bad for him. Then he wrecks you, okay? He's like, no, forget that. And then when you hear the parents of the other kids like calling out that they're cheating essentially.
Why?
Because you get special treatment.
What do you mean?
Because you have to keep your hands on him. You have to, you can't just like, right? Because it's dangerous. It's actually like a kind of a dangerous thing. Because if he doesn't know where you are and you shoot, or he shoots, like you're gonna hit your head, whatever. Mm-hmm. So anyway, the other parents always complain, he's getting special treatment and special rules, whatever.
I can't imagine someone having the gall to say
no, it's totally, it's like, it's shameful. But then, so they figured out, the coaches on the other side would figure out that this kid couldn't be beaten unless they started talking smack to him from the sideline. So what would happen is, they'd get an assistant coach. Yeah, the coach of the other team would start talking about this kid and how, they knew what buttons to press about him, and they'd get him really angry, and then he'd get disqualified because he'd get so angry. Yeah. So he'd hurt the other, not hurt, but like he'd do something that would, and I forget what they would, what it was? It was like, I think he got accepted initially to like a private school in the area, which is really like good for wrestling. And then I think they found out that he was blind, and they rescinded his scholarship or whatever it was.
Bold move.
I mean, just gross. It's a Catholic school too, which makes it even. I think it's a Catholic school. I have to go back. I haven't watched it.
I thought Jesus loved blind people.
So no, Jesus might have, but
maybe
not.
He didn't. That's why.
No, he liked blind. He liked everyone. Jesus loves everyone.
He kept healing them, so maybe.
Okay. So anyway, they would talk smack about how he couldn't make their team, or like they're glad he wasn't.
Oh, that was their school.
Yeah. So. I mean, it was just awful, and this poor kid, and his coach would tell him, like, look, this is what's going to happen. They're going to get frustrated they can't beat you, so they're going to start talking smack, and you're going to get upset, you're going to get disqualified. Anyway, it's a short but good documentary. The kid's really, and it's sad though, because the kid quits wrestling, after high school, because he's so, like, sick of the whole thing. Oh my God.
This is so wobbly.
There you go, that's good though. Here, I'm gonna come over and do like push-ups while you're doing the
Only if you can maintain eye contact the whole time.
The whole time?
The whole time. Oh my God.
All right.
It's so wobbly.
All right, thank you for watching. You all right there? Did you hurt yourself?
I'm good.
Watching our shenanigans.
That was not bad. That was a decent amount of weight. I don't know how much.
Look at this. You could do this with some cinder blocks in your backyard.
Yeah, and a lack of good decision making.
Oh, I'm watching. Jimenez. Oh, look at this. Albie is saying.
Wait, what?
Albie? Albie 121 says, I'm watching Jimenez. You got Jimenez? I like Jimenez too. I mean, you know what? I think Jimenez has like a puncher's chance to beat Gordon, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Gordon's faced other explosive people.
And Gordon's faced like, I mean, he's faced everyone. He's on like a 50-match win streak. His last loss was to Felipe Pena, who is one of the best in the world, right? So, or was. I don't know if he still is. He's not really been active.
Well, you know, he beat Gordon Ryan, so.
He's pretty good. But that was like 5 years ago. Gordon is like, Gordon won't even give him the time of day. Gordon's like, oh, it's old, I'll kill you now.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see.
It's not because he's
I can't, I don't, sorry. Let's see, it's been something about, well, I'm sure your English is better. Felix, I'm sure your English is better than my Spanish. I think that's Spanish. I'm pretty sure it's Spanish what you're writing now. Which means I can't even understand what you're writing, so it's something about English and Espanol, so.
It might be Portuguese.
It could be Portuguese. Jimenez, yeah, I mean, I think Jimenez, I think it's going to be a great match, no matter what. The thing is with these matches, I think they're going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be fun to watch, for sure. And you know, even the ladies that are competing tonight. The ladies, little Gabby Garcia. The ladies. Alright, I'm gonna take off. Thanks for watching, whoever's out there watching. Sorry, couldn't really do a lot of exercises because of my back, but I hope you enjoyed Kevin lifting his makeshift kettlebell. Any kids are watching at home, please don't.
Do not
imitate Coach Kevin. Alright guys, we'll be back next week. Hopefully, I'll be healthy again. Alrighty, thank you. Let me go back in here.
Oh, we need a code word.
Oh, what's the code word?
It's Mark Ruffalo.
No, code word is kettlebell. The code word is kettlebell.